Alright, DMA 9, here we are. Just about to start the tutorial for our double exposure assignment. Please follow along and you will have a successful completed project for the Remembrance Day assembly coming up here. So the first thing we're going to do, as you can see, I have Isaiah's profile shot here. I'm going to start off by selecting him out of this background, and look at this, our very handy tool, the Refine Edge, comes into use here. Make sure we're selecting all the details of his toque. Make sure that you have got your smart radius. I bumped mine up to 4, my lower contrast, and a negative shift edge. Make sure we're outputting to selection. If yours is showing white on black, black on white, that's fine. Click OK. And we now have a selection. One thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to copy and paste this to a new layer. So turning off my background layer is fine. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to open up my image that I'm going to overlay this with. I can either go select all, or you can see Control A, Control C to copy, Control V to paste. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold the Control key and press on Isaiah's layer. And you'll notice that brings up the selection of that layer. I'm now going to make a layer mask for my war image, and you'll notice it automatically makes it from that selection, which is very, very handy. And we can see here a small little linked icon. I'm going to unclick that, which lets me select my war image, and I can move it independently. If I hadn't done that, I would be moving the whole thing as one. So I'm going to unlink. I'm going to move around and find something that looks pretty good here. I kind of like the idea of this whole cannon coming around his chin here. I like that. It's up to you entirely. You'll be finding different images, and you won't be using Isaiah's face unless you're Isaiah. So once we have that sorted out, we are going to copy the layer, which I'm just going to call Isaiah right now. And you can duplicate it either by right-clicking, clicking duplicate layer, or you can use the command shortcut Control J. You're going to bring this to the top. You're going to go Image, Adjustments, and you're going to go down to Desaturate. Once we've done that, we're going to turn the opacity down. Start at 75%. And we're going to play around with the layer blending options. Now this determines how it lays on top of the rest of our layers. So if I choose, I think I'm gonna choose maybe lighten. Bit much. What I can do is I'm just going to use my arrow keys, and I'm going to scroll through until I find a blending option that I really, really like. Ooh, that's pretty good. Oh, I like that. And now what I'm going to do to finally clean this up, try to bring my opacity down a bit, is I'm going to make a new mask. And I use the Control click on that layer again, and I am simply going to, actually I don't even need to do that. I am going to simply start painting out using black. Black conceals. Paint out some of the features that I feel I don't need. Primarily, we want to save the facial features for more expression in our photos. I can mess around with the opacity as I want. I might paint that shirt back in. So you can see it just adds a little bit of detail, although I need to paint out that. And I think I'm going to put maybe a white background layer. We can mess around. You could actually even try the gradient tool. Just drag across and you see we've got a gradient there. That's a neat effect. Well, that's pretty nice actually. And last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the crop tool here. And I'm going to crop everything in. Make this up a little. That could be my final image there. And make sure you're going to File, Save. Make sure you're saving your work constantly. So that is it. That is how we make a pretty cool double exposure assignment. We're going to experiment a little bit with different blending methods, and I might try around some different background images as well, but pretty easy. Hopefully you can go through the tutorial and figure everything out. My original construction was, just going to select all these. I just had a white background. So you'll notice not much has changed there. Just the background. All right, well, hopefully that works.